yourself a hand. Because you're right where you're supposed to be. No matter what's going on, no matter what's happened before, no matter what's going on now, or what you have your eyes on the horizon looking at, you're right where you're supposed to be right now. And we use our little turtle here, who we just renamed last week. I'm going to call him Pace. Pace, P-A-C-E, because it's about respecting your pace. And it's about respecting other people's pace. And trusting the pace that you have. And knowing that we are in full control to create whatever kind of pace we want in whatever direction we choose. So, this is my favorite phrase, show up available. And so, when I say show up available, what I really mean is, do we know what we want? Are we really clear about what we want? And are we open to creating the conditions for what we want by being open and available for it? Everybody is open or available or unavailable in tons of different things. Most of the time we're really good at telling people what we're unavailable for. Okay? Most of us know pretty much our boundaries, although we could use a lot of practice in honoring our boundaries and speaking our boundaries. Being open and available for what you want is the key to getting it. It's the whole basis that the law of attraction operates on. We are all very powerful magnets. And with magnets in the law of attraction, it's important to remember that like attracts like. It's not opposites attract when it comes with the law of attraction. However, we are vibrating whatever energy we're putting out into our world, and whatever energy we have flowing on the inside, we're going to attract like energy into our experience. And so it's important to pay attention to that when we look around at whatever is happening in our lives. The first thing for us to do is accept responsibility for it, because we've brought it in. And just like you all said, there's a purpose to that coming in. And I love listening to Wayne Dyer. And in The Power of Attention, he says that our greatest challenge is our greatest teacher. And that statement I use over and over again in my life to remind me that if there's a challenging situation or person or event unfolding, it's not about it or them. It's about me. And however they are showing up is there to teach me. I had a real good experience when I was a parent. I have 5 kids. And one of my kids was extremely challenging for me at a period of time, like I'm sure I was to my mom and dad. So when I heard that statement, when I heard Wayne Dyer say that, I stopped and I played it again. And then I played it again and I played it again. Because I was looking at my son through my old perspective. Okay? And in my old perspective, there was something wrong with him. Okay, why is he acting this way? Why is he doing this? Why isn't he doing that instead? And it finally dawned on me that, okay, if that's a true statement, our greatest challenge is our greatest teacher, what could I be learning from my child that's about me and not about him? And once I started to flip that perspective around, I got a lot of very valuable insight that said, hey, John, wake up, look at this. Hey, this is what I've been trying to tell you. Look at this. How are you showing up this way? How are you acting or reacting? How do you, and then the next best question is how do you want to respond knowing that this is the way you've been showing up? And when I started to change my behavior, my thinking, my thoughts, my energy, I started to attract like energy in my son because he started to change. Okay? See, here's the thing. Oftentimes we want other people or other things around us to change, and we're victim mode, we're blaming them, we're holding them responsible for whatever we got going on. It never works. It never works. Why? Because they're not responsible for what's going on. We are powerful creators. We have the power to manifest and create our own experience. And so when that's happening, the first thing we can do is take responsibility for ourselves. And when we start to change, the conditions around us have to change. It's the law. So when I started to change my energy, he had to change his energy in order for us to continue to engage. So pretty soon, the old problems dissolved away over time. And he started exhibiting very responsible patterns of behavior that started to open up doors for him in his own life. And so it was such a valuable lesson for me to get that. So whatever challenge or opportunity is in front of you right now with whatever's going on, embrace it. Don't run away from it. Dive into it. And the deeper you dive into it, with your focus on how you want to show up available for it, the more conditions you create for success around it. This is another favorite phrase of mine. I'm an Army guy. So part of my Army experience was learning how to, in my leadership, how do you create conditions on the battlefield to shape the battlefield to go your way, okay? To bring victory, to limit casualties, to limit resources, to have the biggest impact on the battlefield in some way. And it's about creating conditions, okay? The first thing, once you start to land on what you want, is to identify the conditions for what you want. And another word for conditions are values. I did this exercise with somebody, one of my clients this week. He's interested in starting a new business, and he's got a couple of ideas around his business. The first thing I asked him was, and he's got an opportunity to make a couple decisions about where and how and business model and does it look like A or does it look like B? And the first thing I said was, no matter what you want, no matter what you decide, how do you want to feel? What conditions do you want to create for yourself? How do you want to think about yourself? How do you want to think about your business? How do you want to think about the results that you get? And so we came up with some words. I want to feel secure. I want to feel peaceful. I want to feel confident. I want to feel clarity. I want to feel respectful. I want to feel successful. I want to feel open. I want to have a sense of freedom. I want to feel like I'm growing my reputation. I want to feel like I'm honoring my preferences around what I want. He had never considered those elements before. But as we dove into those elements, he started to really get clear and really get an idea of how to make the decisions that he needed to make based on, first, how do you want to show up? What values do you want to create, regardless of the particular decision that we make? Okay? I knew in my family situation that I wanted to show up as a certain kind of dad, regardless of how my children were going to make their choices in life. I was trying to learn how to be consistent, loving, respectful, approachable, teachable, open, safe, all of those things, no matter what kind of path my child was going to take. So, somebody give me a condition or a value that you're looking for in whatever part of your life?
I want to feel fulfilled.
Fulfilled. Tell me more about fulfilled. What does fulfilled mean for you? I love that word.
Fulfilled means that I'm comfortable with myself. I'm comfortable. I'm at peace. I feel good about myself. I feel like I'm contributing something and making a difference.
Excellent. Excellent. You came up with the word and then you dive into this word. Because anybody can say fulfilled. Fulfilled could mean all sorts of things. Fulfilled for somebody might really just be financially. Okay? But the more clarity you get down in here, and even, okay, well, what does comfort look? You want to, this is what you want. What does it look like? Sound like? And feel like. And you can even throw taste like in there if you want to play with the imagery and the descriptive words about taste. Anybody else have a word? It can be any word.
I do want to be open.
Open. Excellent. Okay, so what does open mean? If you give me a couple more descriptors about open, what does that mean? What does open mean to you when you say open?
Available.
Okay.
Respected.
Okay.
Self-worth and value.
What's that?
Self-worth.
Squeaky. Okay. Of course, the opposite of open is closed. Okay. So if I'm open, I might be, these are just some suggestions to think about. Curious. Okay. Willing to experiment. Releasing old beliefs. And I just throw those out there. See what I'm saying? You really go, well, what's the, and you can use the opposite. Is a great way to get more clarity when we're trying to get clarity on understanding a condition. Because sometimes the best place to go is to what we don't want or what we really know. And if I say the word closed, if I say, well, I want to be open, but I'm really not quite sure. Here's a couple of words. But what's the opposite of open? Oh, closed. Oh, if I know closed tells me I'm shut down. I'm afraid, right? I'm judgmental. I'm criticism, you know. Scared, anxious, all of those things. If I said come up with closed, I can come up with those. And then I go, oh, well, what are the opposite of those words? See, the opposite of fear is courage. All right? The opposite of available is unavailable. And so you start to play in those words by doing this little word play. It's an intellectual exercise where you're expanding your thinking, and that thinking is breaking new ground into how you want to show up and the values that are important to you in sitting.
You said that, I thought about my mother. She's very closed, and I try to talk to her about certain things that happen in her life, and she just shuts me down. And like you said, she's fearful, she's afraid.
Yeah.
Me, her daughter, she don't want to be exposed, that I could see her in a certain light. So she was always over me as a kid. Now she's exposed and she don't want that. She keeps closing down.
She's closing down. But see, now when you're in a family or a relationship dynamic, it's so good that you're aware of that. Okay? Because when you're interacting with your mom and you're seeing her closed, we can either be, or anybody, this appeals to anybody, if we're dealing with anybody who's closed, we can get judgmental. You should be open. You're supposed to be open. Stop being closed all the time, okay? And we can go down that road, okay? You shouldn't be afraid. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. And we can be all focused on what we don't want for them. And what does that do?
Does it get worse?
That's that like energy. But we think it's going to change. We think that all of a sudden somebody's going to agree with us, that they'll stop doing what we've been telling them to stop doing, that all of a sudden they're going to say, oh, you're right, I'm going to stop it, I've stopped it. Okay? No, that's not how it happens. They shut down, right? Nobody likes to be shit on. Not right? Who here likes to be shit on? Not me. Okay? And if somebody shoulds on me, previously, before I learned some different skills, I would have a different reaction to that. I'd tell them where to go. Okay? Well, other people get the same reaction when we should on them, even though our intentions are pure. We want to fix them because we really care about them.
Well, and then, translate that into this new political climate.
Oh, yeah, it's even worse.
I mean, both sides, I'm starting to recognize how much even, I think my side is the best, right? And we're just as bad as everybody, I'm just discovering that.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see things I didn't see before.
Yeah.
It's not pretty.
If you really open your eyes to that dynamic, you'll see that. Because it's so blatant. It's everywhere. Everybody, all sides are guilty of it.
Yeah.
And that then creates the opportunity to change. But see now, it's like whether you're with a parent or a kid or a spouse or a friend, when somebody's showing up closed and afraid, we can see that and go, ah. Well, remember I said respect other people's pace? They have a right to be closed. It's none of our business if they're closed. They can choose to say closed, angry, resentful, victimized, doubtful, afraid, unavailable for the rest of their lives. That's their right. Okay?
I had to learn that. I wanted her to open up, because that's the right thing to do.
Right.
Expose it.
So how have you learned that, Laura?
I just put together, she's 87, and I'm thinking, if she didn't change yet, she's not going to change.
She's not going to change.
I just need to let it go. It
Right.
doesn't matter. What difference does it make? That's
Right.
how she wants to go out. I figured she should have gotten straight before she died. But she don't want to. So I'm like, who am I to tell her how to live her life? Just
Right.
let it go.
And so now when you see her, you're not trying to fix that anymore. Instead, you're open and available for love. Mom, I get it. Yeah, I understand. Because Mom is, what's her first name?
Joyce.
Joyce. It's just Joyce.
If she don't want to go there, she's going to die like that.
Joyce is going to be Joyce, just like John's going to be John, Laura's going to be Laura. And the instant we allow and accept other people to be just as they are, where they are, we start to show up available for a better relationship with them, even if they don't change. In fact, that's the key. They don't have to change. They're not supposed to change unless they want to. Okay? But the instant we change, we become available for a different kind of relationship. And it might be one where we draw boundaries and say, hey, no, sorry, I'm not going to play. Love you, but not coming over. See what I'm saying?
Well, I guess the reason I have a problem with my mom is because she's judgmental of other people.
Of course.
She's closed up. But she want to talk about everybody's issue and everybody got a problem, but not her.
Right.
And so I just want to get it all out there. But we all got problems, and you do too. But she don't want me to do that because I'm her daughter, and she don't want me to expose her.
Right.
So I've just learned to
just let it go.
It's been difficult, but it's easy to just let it go.
Yes, it is not an easy transition to make from our judgmental self, right, to an allowing, understanding, accepting self. And because our ego wants to fight that too, okay? But I knew I know that from my own path, the more judgmental I was of other people, without a doubt, what was happening on the inside was I was hating on myself.
And that's all, exactly.
I was judging on my own experience. I was woulda, coulda, shoulda. Why aren't you doing this? Why are you so inconsistent with that? You say this, but you do or think that. You know, all of that. And so when I start to observe my own dynamic, it was like, again, another cosmic 2x4, smack, smack. Pay attention, John. Wake up.
It's very difficult for people to see themselves the way they really are.
Right.
They
Right.
see it.
And that's where that whole thing about allowance and acceptance, we cannot, it's vice versa. It goes both ways. I cannot allow and accept you if I'm unavailable for allowing and accepting myself. Likewise, I can't allow and accept myself if I can't allow and accept you. Judgment, that's just how judgment works. So the instant I release judging and go to loving and allowing instead, movement becomes possible. Change really then becomes possible.
Sometimes it's really hard.
Yes. Yes, Allison, it certainly is. It is hard.
Because sometimes you really feel like what you think is just so true.
Yes. We think we're accurate,
And it's hard to let that go.
and we might even be.
And we love to tell ourselves the
Yeah.
story and be right, and then chat with other people, and then they agree, and then we're in it. It's tough stuff.
Yeah. We're stuck in the story that we're right, just like they're stuck in the story that they're right. And so both sides are stuck in the same story, and that's what's going on politically. One side is saying I'm right, the other side is saying no, I'm right. And so there's no movement taking place.
It is tough because it does feel right in certain pieces.
Right.
It's really one of the toughest things I personally am dealing with.
Yeah.
It's very tough to let go of that judgment.
The first thing our ego does is convince us that we're right? That's how we survive. That's how we protect our emotions and our ego and our state, is we are automatically biased. And I really like the aspect of critical thinking, which is a way of looking at our thinking and the structure of our thoughts and going for more fair-mindedness rather than the opposite. Okay? Am I open and fair-minded? You know, can I even consider the opposite of what I think I'm right? Okay? And then there's the opportunity to be kind rather than right. Most of the time these conflicts of right and wrong don't even matter. Who cares? The greater thing that matters is kindness and respect provided. Now there are times when we have to draw boundaries to protect ourselves, either physically or emotionally, and that's always appropriate to do. And we develop those boundaries by going through this exercise of going, okay, I'm going to show up open and available as long as the other person, right, is respectful. But the instant somebody starts to disrespect me, I'm not going to disrespect them back. I'm just going to honor the boundary that says, you know, this really is not a fit. You know, now's not a good time to continue this conversation. You know, I want a peaceful, not I don't want to fight. That's focus on what you don't want. But rather, I really want to discuss things with you when we're both feel open and safe and kind to one another. And I'm definitely available to do that at some other point, if and when you are. If not, that's okay. I honor where you are, and we'll just, you know, choose to not engage.
She'll be shocked. She just shuts down.
Yeah.
And gets angry.
Sure. Sure.
So this is
Because she doesn't know how else to react.
she doesn't know how. She doesn't have skills.
She doesn't have the skills. See, we can show up unavailable for a lot of reasons, okay? We can show up because we're unavailable in our thinking. I can't consider a different thought, so I'm closed, okay? I can be unavailable in my feeling. And it's related to thinking, but I can't consider feeling differently than I do now. So if I'm angry about this situation, the only way I can feel is angry, and I have a right to that anger, so I'm going to choose that anger, okay? And so I'm unavailable to peace as long as I'm angry, all right? The third way is in skills. I might be open with my thinking. I might be able to develop a new thought. I might be able to explore a new feeling. But if I haven't practiced communication skills, a new way of saying things, new words, new phrases, new tone, new gestures, new feeling, new listening. If I haven't practiced those skills, I'm going to be limited, okay? But it's a whole lot easier to learn new skills when I'm open mentally and I'm open emotionally. Those are the first two keys. But I work with a lot of clients who are on all three of those different levels. They're thinking in unavailable ways, they're feeling in unavailable ways, and they don't have a skill set, okay? But when you know that going in, when we open our eyes and we start to get it, we know it when we see it. And so in our minds, we're just going, oh, isn't that interesting? This person is really judgmental, critical, angry. That's okay. There's nothing for me to fix here. I don't have to tell them they shouldn't feel that way. In fact, I can say, tell me more. Tell me more about that. Oh, okay. Tell me more about that. Oh, okay. Have you ever considered? And that will change the dynamic and the results. Because what we're doing is we're creating conditions for specific results. And the way we do that is shape it by defining how we want it to look like, feel like, and sound like. Because if you go, the next time I talk to my mom, I want it to sound loving, peaceful, friendly, funny, light, entertaining, reminiscent. Okay? When you start to land on those words, and you know you're going to go see her, I intend to create this kind of conversation that looks like, feels like, sounds like. I am open and available for this kind of conversation. And then when you go there, you're in a different energy vibe. Now, she doesn't... Alice? What was her?
I'm Laura.
Yeah, but your mom's...
Joyce.
Joyce, I'm sorry. Joyce is allowed to be Joyce, okay? But see, by going into the conversation, you've changed your vibration. You're not resentful over what she does or how she does it. You're not shoulding on her mentally or emotionally or back to your childhood. Mom should have done this.
That's what it was. I think that's what it is. I have a lot of baggage.
Yes.
My friend here, she meets her and they love and talk and she's a good spirit and she like it light. We go back and she was very, very harsh.
Yes.
When I was a kid.
When you were a kid.
Bounced on me. Never thought I'd grow up. And now she's older and the dynamics have changed. So I'm the grown up because I got to take care of her.
Right.
And so for me to tell her anything that she doesn't want to hear, she just clamps up.
Yeah.
And we just constantly. But it has to do with my childhood.
Yeah.
I also explain to her a lot of times that she feels it. She feels it. I mean, she's 87, so you know she's sorry for what, because I've had conversations with
Yeah.
her. But she don't know how to approach Laura as being a grown adult now because this is your mother.
Right.
You're a child in her eyes.
And
you're not an adult to her. She birthed you. This is your mom.
Yeah.
She doesn't look as you as equal to her.
Never
No
will.
mother.
Yeah.
No mother would. You know, Laura doesn't have children, so it's different.
Sure.
She children's mind, you know. But I tell her it's something different. It's like mine are 17 and 21. I gotta let go. You know, she's 21 now. She has a boyfriend. I'm sure she's gonna be, you know, she's in her career, But hey, I'm mama. When I pick up that phone and I say, hey, I need You know, that's what. But I mean, some people are accepted to this, and some not. You have a strong one. You have a strong one.
Sure.
She's not bowing down to that.
Right. Right.
Just accept. I just let it go.
And
That's what you said.
and that's where and that's valuable. That's priceless, because by allowing her to be where she is, you allow you to be where you are. Acceptance.
Yeah.
And that's the key. That's the key to the door. Once you open the allowance and the acceptance door, all things become possible, because you can finally show up available. Because what we resist persists.
And you can have fun. Because I did that with my dad. I mean, he, once, he's a narcissist, but wonderful.
Sure.
Narcissists are lovely people too. But finally I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna listen. I know, we've been that long, and we have had such good times, because I don't need him to solve my problems. I don't need him to listen to me. I don't need him to be what I thought a father should be.
Mm-hmm.
So I can just
accept him.
And we have so much fun. It's changed everything now. Do I talk a lot? No.
Takes over.
But you're
sometimes I talk to blind ears. Yeah. Sometimes do I roll my eyes and go, I cannot believe this man can keep this up without hearing.
That's who he is.
Right? It is. And then we can have fun. That's the bottom line. And there's joy and fun comes now.
Well, and this too is about owning your power. See, because in the opposite case, the person who's challenging us, in our mind, we're giving our power away to them to control our thoughts, to control our thinking, our feeling, our words, our energy. They know what buttons to push. They know what triggers to pull or to flip. And we just respond like this, because that's just our human nature, is to react, not think, not be present, not show up available. We're going to get all defensive and centered on our ego. But the instant we go to that space that you all are talking about and that Allison just mentioned, is now we feel safe. Why? Because all of our power's right here. They don't have our power. We finally realize that, wait a minute, my power's right here, not in them. And so if my power's in here, then I can show up completely available to create a different experience rather than the old experience. And again, the other person doesn't have to change at all. But the magic is that we've changed. So we can create conditions for our own experience. And that's how things move, and that's how things happen. So keep practicing these things, because the more we practice, and it's a never ending, we're all trees, okay? So, meaning we're never going to run out of opportunities to grow and learn. And just when we think we've mastered something, no. Our roots need to go a little bit deeper, okay? And on those points, it's not about that we're vibrating in a way to attract something to learn, okay? But we can be diligently practicing trying to be patient. But then we'll attract an impatient person or experience or a reason to be impatient into our experience, okay? And we might think, man, I've been really working hard on patience, haven't I? And so I wonder why this showed up into my experience again. Well, God is just saying your roots need to go a little deeper on this. You still got some room to grow in the patience mode. And you think you've got patience down, let me remind you that you really don't, that there's, not in a bad way, there's just more learning to go. We can always learn more about patience, respect, allowance, acceptance, peace, boundaries, love.
It never ends till we die.
Absolutely, right. Right. So we got roots to grow deeper, we got a trunk to grow wider, we got branches to grow longer, we got fruit, we go through our seasons, we go through our winter, spring, summer, and fall. So does everybody else around us. And it becomes very valuable to pay attention to those cycles that we're in certain parts of our life and with certain relationships. Okay? I love the Medea skit on see it on Facebook every once in a while where she's telling her nephew about people are like leaves and some are in there for a season and others are not, and you know, and it just makes total sense. And the more we embrace that, the more we are able to move through it in a powerful way.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
When we were here, you said respect our pace. What did you mean by that? Respect your pace?
So everybody goes at our own pace, fast, slow, in between. Sometimes we feel stuck. Sometimes we feel.
The pace is too slow. I need to speed it up.
Okay, excellent. So and in what way? What does a faster pace look like, sound like, and feel like to you?
I'll be more accomplished in things that I want to accomplish.
Give me an example of something that would be meaningful for you to accomplish that would demonstrate that for you.
Forward.
That you're moving.
Okay, I have a skin condition that I'm trying to work with.
Okay.
And I've had it for a while, and now I have a plan where I'm writing it down, and I'm trying to see changes. Today's my 40th day that I'm on this plan, so I started writing it down so I can see that I'm moving. The pace is slow, but I'll give up because I get so frustrated. But I want to keep at it no matter what, no matter how slow I go. My job is just to show up and be there no matter what, because I think after a while I'll see progress.
Yes.
But I just wish it would be fast.
Sure.
But it's just slow.
Absolutely. I get that. Our natural tendency is we want things right now, don't we? We want healing, we want health, we want change. We want change in a relationship. We want to win the lotto. We want change in politics. We want change in the weather. We want change in our car. We want change in our kids, and we want it like that. This is where radical trust steps in to where we go, wait a minute, I'm not in charge of the timeline because everything happens, where's it at? In divine time and order. Okay? And we get attached to time. And we think if some things haven't happened within a short period of time, it's either A, we screwed up and we're a failure. B, we don't deserve it anyway, so what's the point in following it? Okay. 3, we're never supposed to have it. Okay. And those 3 things can shut us down and make us unavailable because then we get judgmental, critical, and we start to practice a scarcity mindset instead of an abundance mindset. Okay? So when we miss something due to time, we can immediately go into those types of thoughts and that kind of energy. And again, what do those thoughts and energy create? More anxiety, more scarcity, okay? More hopelessness, more disappointment, more frustration, more self-judgment, all sorts of different things. But the instant we go into abundance mindset, the more we can also with this is we release and detach.
How do you create abundance mindset?
I am divine health. My skin is perfect just the way it is. It is whole and healing and vibrant. My body is full of divine health. I attract healthy feelings, healthy thoughts, healthy energy. I allow and accept healthy energy to come to me.
And saying to myself some of those things, and I feel better.
Good.
I feel at peace.
Keep doing that. See, because that peace, healing occurs better and faster when we're vibrating on the level of that we're already healed. Okay? That divine health is already ours. And isn't it, I mean, we're all going to die, right? But aren't we all divine health, regardless of the state of our bodies? We are. So when you start to speak to it, when you start to speak to your skin, I remember a Wayne Dyer story he told with one of his daughters. Young daughter at the time, she would get these little warts. And so they took her to the doctor, and the doctor said, oh, these warts, They're okay. They'll, you know, the good news is by the time you get married, they'll be gone, you know, meaning she'll grow out of it, okay? And she was like, I don't want to have these things until I'm, you know, married. And so what else can we do? And so that was one doctor's thing. And then they went to another doctor, and the doctor said, yep, you've got warts. Talk to them. So he tells a story. He would go in after putting his daughter down for bed, and she'd be under the blanket with the flashlight. And he'd say, well, what are you doing? And she said, shh, I'm talking to my warts. So she started to bless her warts, thank her warts, release. Thank you. Thank you for teaching me the value of. I release you now. I let you go. I bless it. My, you know, and within 2 weeks they were all gone.
That's a different mindset because I get so angry and so
sure.
frustrated.
Yeah, and what we resist persists.
It gets worse.
Yeah. See? So there's your evidence of what doesn't work. Okay? Observe that. Use your thoughts to go, when I get angry, my condition worsens. What does that tell me about the power of my thoughts and feelings and my perspective? So this is where you release and detach from those angers and allow and accept things to be just as they are, especially your healing nature and your trust in healing power. Okay? And that will facilitate your healing, whether it shows up physically or on the inside. See?
I feel it's happening on the inside.
See?
And it's going to show up on the outside.
Exactly.
That's where it started.
Exactly.
And I'm beginning to feel a certain peace.
Exactly.
Just by you saying what you're saying, I feel like I'm on the right road.
Yeah.
When it started the process.
That's exactly the right road. So when you observe your skin condition and you see it, instead of getting caught up in the time and this is supposed to be gone already and why do I have this anyway, you know, go, I love my skin. Thank you for reminding me of how beautiful I am.
And again, because I have a skin condition too, that is really hard to do.
Yes.
We forget to do that.
Absolutely.
Fight our own self.
Like a battle.
Right? Like we are so angry and mad at it, right? We don't really, I forgot.
And I scratch. And I
Start
used to,
saying, I love you.
I was scratching it and I wasn't feel like I was hurting myself. I was scratching it.
Right.
But in the process of hurting me.
Yes.
It's crazy.
No, it is. And that's where, if we pay attention, see, we get too critical, we get too judgmental, rather than, let me be in my present moment, let me honor my pace, and go, wait a minute, let me take a break here, let me observe my old thought and my old story come up, about what I got and why I got it and how I think I'm going to have it forever. And let me replace that with a new thought and a new story right now in the present moment. Because that's your key. When you trade your old belief for a new belief, when you trade your old words for new words, when you trade your old actions for new actions, you change the vibration and you change the possibility. You open the doors. It takes only one thing and one thing only to do this. It's like you said, practice. Practice. Write new words on a mirror. Put post-it notes around the house. What happens is, the way we are is we are wired a certain way. And we're wired a certain way based on old beliefs, old thoughts, old opinions, what we saw in our families, what we've seen in our society and culture around us, and we've naturally adopted those behaviors. That makes us hardwired, okay? Now, this is about new wiring. So the only way to rewire is practice by unplugging, recognizing that you're plugged into something that doesn't serve you. Oh, why do I keep saying this about myself? It's not true. It's not what I want. And it doesn't make me feel good. I'm going to unplug from that belief and I'm going to find a new belief. Now, what is my new belief? I love myself. I love my skin. I vibrate to the degree of wholeness and healthy and happy disposition. I am the peace. I am the healing. And you plug that wire into a new belief, a new thought. Beliefs are just practice thoughts. Okay? So, you make it a daily regimen. And that's where when we talk about scripting. All right? Scripting is writing as if you already have what you want with the end result in mind. Okay? And when you're scripting, you get yourself a journal that looks good, that feels good. You put a dedication, you put a date and a dedication on the first page. So I'll just read you a couple lines. This is an old one. I've been scripting since 2007. It has changed my life. If there was one spiritual practice I could say changed my life, is this. Okay? So, 20 January 2010. I dedicate this scripting journal to manifesting the dreams of my life, for the blessing of my life and my highest good, and also blessing and the highest good of people I love and care about. I write with faith, nothing doubting. My thoughts, actions, and words create my life. See what I'm saying? So I'm taking direct responsibility here. The decisions, wants, and needs expressed on these pages shall come to pass with ease and grace and perfect divine time and order. God is my source. And then, so it is, I let it be. Thank you, God, amen. And I signed it. So that's my dedication. And then you start to script. Now, my scripting technique puts the date, and then it starts with Dear God. I treat this like prayer. And this is only affirmative language. You want to think, write in the most affirmative words and phrases possible. You're not describing your day. Okay? Oh, I went to the store. Now you can't say, thank you, God, for the abundance of the universe. As I went to the store today, I was reminded that I am surrounded by infinite good things. Okay? I see more good things all around me. More good things are flowing to me right now. Okay? And so I write, Dear God, and then I spend a few sentences thanking God in gratitude. When in doubt, you can just write gratitude. You want to script about your relationships, money, work, your health, and your spiritual growth. Okay, you can also script about others, not from the standpoint of what they should be doing, but Dear God, I see my mom surrounded by peace and light. I allow my mom to be who she is as she is. See what I'm saying? She's open to movement. Even at this time, she's open to having a new thought and new energy around something important to her. And I trust that you'll lead her to that. See what I'm saying? So, you start to script. Dear God, a brand new day and a brand new week. I'm so thankful. Thank you for the opportunity yesterday to be an instrument in helping others. A man asked me to pray with him at Unity about his transition and his feeling that he was about to have a breakthrough. As I prayed with him about the God of the breakthrough, when the prayer was over, he had tears streaming down his face. It was a wonderful moment, and I am grateful to have participated in that. Oh, this was a good day.
Unity Church?
Huh?
You go to Unity?
Yes. Do you go to Unity?
My mother used to go to Miami.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. When Gina and I go to church, we go to Unity on Sandy Plains.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And so what you're doing when you're scripting is you're writing and you're getting really clear. For example, you would start to write really clear about what your skin already looks like in the present moment, as if it's healed. Thank you, God, for the way my skin looks today. It looks beautiful, radiant, healthy.
Even if it don't.
Even if it doesn't. Because you're speaking the blessing over it. And you're treating your skin like it does. You're treating yourself like it does.
Well, and it is beautiful because you have skin.
Yes. And you're...
Good job.
Thank you, Allison. Yeah. So you're acknowledging the deeper truth. Wait a minute, why am I cursing my skin? I love my skin. Where would I be without my skin? Could my skin be worse than it is right now? Oh my. Okay? So once you start to get into that, what your new skin looks like, what your new skin sounds like. If you were to tell the story about your skin tomorrow, how could that story be different tomorrow than it is today? God has blessed me with skin, and I'm just reminded all the time how awesome my skin is and how the importance of taking care of our skin and skin health.
It protects me from germs, from the germs invading my body.
Yeah.
It's a different mindset.
Different mindset.
Starts right up here.
And you say, well, what does my new skin feel like? What does health and wholeness feel like? Well, it makes me feel peace, in the flow, appreciative, free. Absolutely, all those things. And so when you're scripting, you are writing as if you have all of that already. Thank you, God, that my skin is already healed. Thank you, God, that I am healed already. This moment, I claim it, I declare it, I receive it, I accept it, I embrace it, I allow it. I align my thoughts, my new thoughts. I have new thoughts and new feelings and beliefs already. Even if I'm not clear on what they are right now, clarity and inspiration come to me.
Oh my God, I'm just thinking about all the doctors I've been to. I've had this since I was 30, and now I'm 66. So that many years.
Yeah.
And I've been to so many doctors, and so many times I've left crying because you felt like they didn't know what they were doing, or they just pulled you up a medication that was harming you or wasn't working.
Sure.
And I just stopped going. And I've been on this journey. And just coming here today, like you said, I'm in the right place. All this I'm getting, it just feels so nourishing. And when I've been meditating, you just feel right. You just feel that peace. I'm not healed yet, but there's a peace that I haven't had, and the anger. I was just so mad. Especially when the weather gets warm and you got to expose your skin. I just get so mad. And I just like, it is what it is.
Right.
And just, I'm in the right place now.
And who's your source? Who is your source for healing?
My God. My God.
And where is God for you?
He's everywhere. He's here.
Yes.
He's there. In the plants,
okay.
the seas everywhere.
See, if you're a wave on the ocean of God, where is the source of your healing? It's already here.
I just have to tap into it and
Yes.
acknowledge it.
Yes. And rewire and practice the new thought. And that's where scripting comes, because
Scripting the same?
This is different. Scripting is, I'm going to call it affirmative journaling. Okay? You're only writing affirmative things. So you're not saying, I don't want, I hate it when, I wish this was different.
Only positive.
You're only positive.
It's almost like being grateful.
Yes.
You're speaking from a grateful for all the good
Yes, that already is. And you can say, I already am. I create. I attract. I show up available for. I am open and willing to. See what I'm saying? And so the more you write, it's like when a painter goes to paint something, he just doesn't start painting. He has a vision, typically, most of the time, of what. So we create first spiritually with our thoughts and with our vibration. And so before you're scripting, you already know in your head, I want healing. I desire healing. I honor my preference for healthy skin. So I'm going to write about that. Okay? So then you start to take your thoughts and you put it down on paper. So it's kind of like the artist is saying, now I'm ready to start to paint.
You know where you're going with this.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? And the more I paint, the more I embellish, the more clear and the more specific I start to get about these conditions and the values and what it looks like, feels like, and sounds like. The painting starts to take shape. And then after I've written for the day, I go through and I read it out loud as if I'm passionately aligned with what I just wrote. And then I release and let it go. But at any time during the day, I get those old beliefs. I go, no thank you, old belief. I have a new belief. So what's my new belief? Oh yeah, I remembered these words. I scripted these words. I'm just going to practice these new words today. And so you start to practice, and through self-awareness, you start to go unplug, replug. Unplug, old belief, new belief. And pretty soon, after over a period of time, you're not even thinking the old thoughts anymore. Anytime you even think about your skin, you're blessing it, you're talking to it, you're showing other people, you're appreciating other people's skin. You're talking to other people who may have a similar condition, and you're uplifting and encouraging and supporting them. You're not getting into your old story, and rehashing your old story. No, you're available to lift up other people. In fact, maybe that's why, maybe that's a divine purpose for this showing up, is to go, hey, what? Wait a minute, are there people out there that I can help who have this too?
I used to be very judgmental about people with any fat people, people that are disabled. I just couldn't relate to them, something wrong with them. Until I got my condition, I'm a little more sensitive. I look at people pain more. I'm more sensitive.
Yeah. That's how it works. Or you go the opposite direction, see? You get more bitter, more depressed, more angry, and that's your condition is that way, and you just stay in that mode. But congratulations to you for paying attention and starting to have a breakthrough already. See, your breakthrough is already, so if I'm scripting, dear God, my health breakthrough is already happening. It's already unfolding. Those volcanoes.
And I've been writing, so I'm consistent with it. So I see a pattern, which is good before I start things, and I don't have anything to look at.
Yes.
So then my mind goes somewhere else, and I start something else. But now I show up every day, and I have my written notes of what I did yesterday, and it helps me to know, like, I'm progressing.
Perfect. Perfect.
So it just goes in line with what you're saying.
Absolutely.
So I'm just like,
and pay attention.
Something is happening.
See healing and movement and breakthrough everywhere, and acknowledge it. Dear God, volcanoes in Hawaii, breakthrough, powerful energy, flow of lava. I got the flow of healing flowing through me. Okay? And take whatever is symbolic for you or provides a powerful image and speak words to that. Take that, oh, volcanoes. What can I learn about a volcano happening?
I think that's so bad when it happens. Like,
well,
bad news.
Sure, it is bad news, but how was the earth created? The earth is really just a massive freaking volcano with a magna core. There's all sorts of energy flowing underneath, right? And the fact that we see this, yeah, of course we want people to be safe and we want their homes to be protected, and we don't want anybody to be harmed. But this is the course of nature, is volcanic activity. So what kind of volcanoes you all got going on in your own life that are bringing up new energy, new direction, new connections, new opportunities, new healing, new words, new thoughts, new beliefs, new money? Okay? And so look on the outside, not through judgmental eyes, but what's a sign? And then don't doubt the sign. There's no such thing as coincidence in my book. Nothing is a coincidence. Everything happens for divine purpose. And that divine purpose can be seen a lot more easier than we give ourselves credit. We can go, oh, isn't it interesting that happens? What does that say? What does that mean about me? Volcanoes.
Different way of looking at it.
Absolutely. Rain.
That's where I needed to be.
Yeah.
I just knew I had to come. I didn't know why, but I feel like I'm on the right path.
Excellent. Excellent. Does anybody have any questions about scripting?
Scripting is not journaling.
It is not journaling?
It is writing.
I tell you what this, if you want to call it affirmative journaling.
Okay.
All right?
Positive, but what you want to happen.
Right.
Okay.
As if I already have it.
Okay.
Or it's already happened. So if I've got a meeting tomorrow, okay, I can script tonight about how something goes tomorrow, and I can script at it from the standpoint of, dear God, thank you for the fantastic presentation I've already given. Okay? I was on point, my energy was high, my PowerPoint presentation was perfect, people loved me, I connected with the audience.
Before it happens.
Before it even happens. Thank you, God, that I already have this connection with the audience. Okay? You can do it two ways, as if you're in the present moment doing it, or as if it's already happened. Okay? But not like it will happen.
Right, that doesn't work.
Okay? It's either happening in the present moment. Dear God, thank you that I'm talking to this group already. I am articulate, poised, charismatic, entertaining, humorous, light, happy, radiant. People love me. I love them.
Send that energy before you
I send that energy before I'm there. God, you are already working behind the scenes on this. You are in front of me, behind me, and to my side. You're already in that room preparing the audience. It was prepared years ago. okay, for this to happen.
Did you create scripting?
No, I did not create it. I learned scripting from a woman named Joyce Reynolds, Rennolds. And I would encourage you to check out her website. She's an older lady in her early 80s, I think. And she does classes around town. Yeah, she's from Atlanta. I don't remember all of her classes. I know generally on Tuesday night she's in Buckhead. That's where if I get a chance on a Tuesday night and go down, I go down to her class. But she showed up at Unity one Sunday in 2007, and that changed my life.
Really? And what you said her name is?
Joyce?
Like my mom.
Yes. Reynolds, Rennolds. And she had a lot of sales training. She was a saleswoman back in the day for Earl Nightingale and some other sales programs. And she's known as motivator of 1 or 1,000.
Okay.
So,
Can you spell her last name for me one more time?
Rennolds.
Okay, got it.
Yep. Joyce Reynolds. And she's awesome, just fantastic. And like I said, she has classes about scripting. And I've gone to her classes now. I'm not able to go as frequently as I used to, but from about 2007 to 2014, I used to go almost every week if I could.
What do you do? This is like introduction, right? Do you work one-on-one with people?
I work one-on-one with people. I work one-on-one with couples. I work one-on-one with executives or business owners. So I do leadership. I was in the military for 27 years, so I have a strong military background where I coach on leadership. I do individual and relationship coaching, couples, people dating, any type of individual coaching one-on-one. And I do it I do my coaching typically in there. I love to speak. I love to talk in front of groups. So I do employee lunch and learns. I'll do training or seminars. I'll do a keynote speech when I get the opportunity to do that. And but Joyce is who I learned scripting from. And look, don't judge your scripting. Just start. Go out, get a journal, get a nice pen, and just start scripting. I've been doing it for over 10 years, so my scripting style has grown. The words that I started with are not the same words that I use now, or they're more powerful or more dynamic or used in different variations. Oh, without a doubt. And by scripting, after scripting for a period of time, you start to think as if you're scripting all the time. If I'm in my car driving to an appointment or to something that's important, and I want to be intentional, all this is about being intentional, okay, being deliberate with what you want to create. I'm going to sit there and in my car, I'm going to start to speak as if I'm scripting. Dear God, thank you that I already am. I attract, I am open for, I am this, I am that. It's already done. You're working behind the scenes already. Energy's going forward. People love me. I love people. See what I'm saying? Success. And when I get there, I'm in the flow. And I release it. I'm not thinking about it all the time. I'm not coming at it from lack or scarcity. It's already there. I release it and I just trust. I go to radical trust that everything's going to unfold in divine time and order, that I've been divinely led and so is everybody else. And I'm going to say the exact thing I'm supposed to say to the exact people who are supposed to be there. Some of them might get it, some of it might not, but that doesn't matter. I'm not attached to the outcome. Okay? So this is where you want healing, but you're not attached to the specific outcome or the day or the time, because it's already happened spiritually. See what I'm saying? And you vibrate from that. So every day you wake up in the morning, it doesn't matter what your skin looks like at that particular time. What matters is you bless it and you love it.
And how you feel.
And how you feel.
I'm feeling better.
Yep.
I'm not angry.
Right.
Wow, that's amazing.
It will change your life. It will change your health. It will change. It just changes.
I'm ready.
We have to. You can't practice that kind of deliberate, intentional thinking and have nothing happen. Okay? In fact, so many things are happening at a deeper level that you don't even know. Okay? Because how I'm vibrating right now is either opening or closing doors a year from now. See what I'm saying? For something to occur in my life, or in my kid's life, or within the realm of my influence. Okay? And I don't even have to know about that. But my trust is I practice creating my trust to that level, so that that's what I'm putting out there. I don't worry about a year from now. I trust that, and how I'm showing up right now is creating and impacting what's going to happen a year from now. Okay? And a year from now isn't going to happen anyway until the present moment. So what am I worried about what happens a year from now anyway? I can't control it. So my pace is divine. And I can speed up my pace, I can slow down my pace, I can change my pace, I can change direction. Okay? And if I have radical trust, I trust that there's been nothing wrong in my path so far. No wrong turn, no wrong relationship, no wrong job, no wrong money, no wrong. It has been on divine and on, because it's been that way in the past. Guess what? It's that way right now, and it's going to be that way tomorrow. I don't have to spend any time going, oh, what if this was, oh, this should have been different and it wasn't, oh, I need to go back and undo that in order to have this now. No. You don't have to go back and undo anything in the past to have what you want right now. You can't undo it anyway. You can only change how you align and vibrate and think and speak and feel and act, whether it's in alignment or not. Whether we're in alignment. Because the goal is, for alignment, is that our thoughts, feelings, words, and actions are consistent. Are consistent. In other words, I have a thought, I feel the same way, I speak the same way, and my actions are aligned with that. All right? Typically, and when I'm consistent, I'm authentic, I'm empowered, all of my power is here. All right? I'm self-aware, I'm paying attention, and I'm lined up. All right? What?
Repeat those letters. I got
thoughts, feelings, words, and actions.
Okay, words.
All right? What typically happens is we end up like this. And then we wonder why we're not sleeping at night. All of our relationships suck. We keep having this kind of problem and that kind of problem. Well, it's because we're inconsistent and inauthentic, out of power. All of our power is outside of us instead of inside of us. And so that keeps us from showing up available. And instead we're showing up unavailable, and we're getting the results of being unavailable. And whose fault is it? Whose responsibility is it? Who's accountable for it?
We are.
Yeah. And so this is the goal. So this is where we go, well, wait a minute, what do I want? How do I want to feel about my skin? How do I want to feel about my new job? How do I want to feel about the relationship with somebody who's important to me? And then we start that with the thought. What kind of feeling do I want to have that's consistent with that thought? What kind of words do I need to speak that are consistent with those feelings and thoughts? What kind of story do I tell? How do I want to act? What actions do I want to take as it relates to, what actions would I take that are aligned with what I want? And the more we bring this, and rarely is it lined up dead center, because we're human, okay, we're learning. But the closer I can get to this, and the more I practice this principle, the more powerful I vibrate, and the more I do show up available for success and for what I want. And the more available I am for adding value to other people, helping other people, serving other people, being available for them, instead of all caught up in my own stuff, which shuts me down. Does anybody have any questions about what I've talked about tonight or scripting? Are there any other final thoughts?
I just feel like I felt the need to come here, and I got a lot. and I feel like I'm in alignment. I just got to continue the journey.
There you go. Me too.
It feels good.
Practice. We're all right where we're supposed to be, and we have a lifetime, an eternity of learning ahead of us. We ain't done. Just getting started. I challenge you to show up available. I challenge you to practice new thoughts, new feelings, new words, and new actions. I challenge you to define the conditions you want to create for all the aspects of your life, to have an abundance mindset, and to go out and deliberately create your world. You have dominion over all things. I trust you. You should trust yourself. And allow and accept yourself to be who you are, and allow and accept everybody else to be right where they are as they are. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I appreciate it tonight.